I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor, all the love unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rekah Kudash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. I also want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go into First Maccabees. It's been a while since I went into the book of Maccabees, and let me see here. Bear with me, but I'm going to just go in on Maccabees chapter 1, First Maccabees, and let's see. Let me get this music going. So, what I want to point out is we're in the Apocrypha. So, the Apocrypha, one thing I want you to know is the Apocrypha, basically the word Apocrypha means sent away, hidden. The word Apocrypha breaks down to that etymology, sent away, hidden, okay? So, you have to understand what it is here is just in a crazy, or not a crazy, just a quick summary. If you look at it from this perspective, it makes sense. But what it is the Edomites, they removed this out of the Bible in 1611, and the reason is because, just in layman's terms, it's because the Apocrypha is basically it has the dirt that they did to us when they started to rule the earth, all right, as the Greeks. And even before that, the Greeks were the Macedonians who would become the Greeks, right? So, if you think about it, they left in the Bible, they left the Egyptian captivity, the Babylonian captivity, the Assyrian captivity, the Medo-Persian captivity, and basically they removed the scripture, which has all the dirt on them. Because it literally, when you go into the book of Maccabees, it lines up with secular history, okay? The Maccabees even drops names, as I'm about to read here in chapter 1, First Maccabees in 1, all right? And I'm going to go ahead and just, without further ado, let's get in it. And I'm not going to read the whole chapter because it's a long-ass chapter. And I'm actually here right now. I've got a little time on my hands because I'm waiting for a ride here. I got stranded. If you would, the car's running still, but it's not. I'm not able to drive back to Denver. All right, I'm in a town called Silverthorne, which is about an hour and a half away from Denver. So I'm gonna get my lesson done now because it looks like I'm gonna be here for a little while until my help gets here. But anyway, First Maccabees chapter 1. It says, "And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chetam, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and the Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece." Okay? So you can read about this history a little bit in the book of Daniel, right? When the Greeks, the prophecy was that the Greeks would take over and they would have war with the Persians and the Medes, which in secular history, yes, that happened. So it's prophecy, all right? So the prophecy was fulfilled, and then lo and behold, First Maccabees chapter 1, this is going in on the time period where the Greeks started to rule on the planet Earth, all right? They were the empire, right? This is the beginning of the Edomite Empire. The Macedonian Greek and would become the Roman Empire. And all the way to now, you fast forward to now, the American captivity that we're in right now, this is the whole time that the Edomites had to, be the rulers of the earth, the empire, the strongest empires of the earth. We're still in this Edomite rulership. We're still under this Edomite rulership, okay? So let's read it, because this is the origin. This is the beginning of the Edomite rulership. Verse 2. And made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth. All right? So that's what the Edomites did. They won a bunch of wars. They slew the kings of the earth, meaning they were destroying all the empires, all the kingdoms, prior to their king establishing their kingdom, which would become known as the Greek Empire, right? Eventually the Greco-Roman Empire. Let me keep reading here. This is verse 3. And went through the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations. They still do that. Insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up, meaning his mind, his pride, right? You go read the book of Obadiah, it talks about the pride of the Edomite. And gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. All right? So basically, this tributary is another word for tributary is taxes. All right? So when the Edomites started ruling, they started having all these other nations and countries paying them taxes or tributaries. Right? They still do it. Verse 5. And after these things he fell sick, and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them, while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years, and then died. And his servants bare rule, every one in his place. And after his death they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. All right, and you can look up in secular history. You can find out very easily. You just got to look at Google who were Alexander's 4 generals. Okay, and I at the top of my head I can't remember all 4 of them. I know Ptolemy was one. Believe Seleucus was one. Look that up. Google that. I'm gonna just keep reading here for the sake of this lesson. All right, but if you want to know who was divided up the kingdoms of the Edomites after Alexander, what they call him, Alexander the Greek, after he died, like I said, his servants bared rule in everyone in his place, right? And look that up. Verse 9. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, so did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. All right? So when the so-called white man, the Edomite, began to rule over the earth, evils, the Bible says that evil multiplied in the earth. Okay? And let's keep reading. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus, the king who had been an hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. Okay, so that's let me keep reading. Salakia, I thought my ride was here, but that wasn't him. So anyway, here's verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. All right? So this is those 2/3, right? The spirits of the 2/3 that we always tell you about. That's what this people, the 2/3, they're always down to be mingling with the heathen. They want to be down with the heathen, right? They're ready to give up the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and they're ready to make covenants with the heathen. You have Israelites who are still in the spirit, the same spirit. There's a lot of our people, they don't mind being the heathen. They don't mind acting like the heathen, right? Verse 12. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen, right? Because that's one of the things with the heathen. They like to give you licenses to do all whatever you got to do. They got to give you licenses, right? If you want to get married, the heathen, when I'm talking about really the Edomite, they want you to get a marriage license. If you want to go fishing, you better get a fishing license. If you want to drive your car, you better have a driver's license, right? And when you go into that word license, it actually means trap, right? And this is the way the heathen, this is how they operate, okay? Like in the kingdom, we're not going to, you think we're going to need a license to drive our chariot? The answer is no, man. This is a heathen thing to have a license, okay? Which license, like I said, going to that etymology, that word means trap. All right, let's see. Verse 14, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen. All right, another thing, a custom of the heathen, is a place of exercise, which would be what you call a gym right now, a gymnasium, or the gym. People say, oh, I'm going to the gym, which you go into that word gymnasium, and that actually means to exercise naked. All right, that's why nothing new under the sun. When you go to these gyms, these clubs, nowadays, what do you see? You see a bunch of fucking naked women, men naked. Everyone's wearing tight-ass clothes or clothes that's revealing, Why? This is the custom of the heathen. Like they have a term, oh, he looks like a Greek god. And what is a Greek god? A Greek god was basically butt naked all the time. You see the statues of the Greeks, they were naked. So this is the heathen custom. This is why when you go to the gym, you see all our people and all the heathen, they're all almost naked while they're working out and shit. Matter of fact, in the ancient Greek times, they actually did work out naked. All right, even the Olympics, they were naked when they were competing. Verse 14, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves unto the heathen, and were sold to do mischief. All right. So being uncircumcised is two things. It's a physical thing, and it's also spiritual. All right. Whenever you're acting like the heathen, you're doing all the customs of the heathen, the way the Most High looks at you is you're uncircumcised. All right. Meaning there's no covenant. You don't have a covenant with the Most High. You're acting like a heathen. Why should he make a covenant with you if you're acting like the heathen? You're doing all the customs of the heathen, right? If you're, literally, that's what that word covenant means, agreement. He's not going to have an agreement with you if you're acting and, walking in the way of the heathen. Verse 16, now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion over two realms. All right, and that's the way the Edomite always is. He's never satisfied. He always wants to, put his nose in everyone's business. He always wants to rule like different realms, like it says here, right? Let's keep reading. You go read the book of Obadiah. It tells you about his greediness, and he wants everything, That's the spirit of these Edomites. They'll want to take, they want to take your wife, they want to take your house, they'll take everything they can if they're able to. That is the spirit of an Edomite. And if you act like that and you're walking in the spirit of the Edomite, you might as well be an Edomite, Here's verse 17. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen, and a great navy, and made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death. All right? So even the Edomites, they even go after each other, right? Nothing new under the sun, man. You have today, you have Vladimir Putin versus the West in NATO, right? Which Vladimir Putin, the Russians are also Edomites, but yet they'll go to war with each other because the Edomite don't give a fuck, man. That's the spirit of the Edomite. He's just, war is always in his heart. All right, let's keep reading. Verse 19. Thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt, and he took the spoils thereof. And after that Antiochus had smitten Egypt, he returned again in the 143rd year, and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude, and entered proudly into the sanctuary, and took away the golden altar, and the candlestick of light, and all the vessels thereof, and the table of showbread, and the pouring vessels, and the vials, and the censers of gold, and the veil, and the crowns, and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. He took also the silver and the gold and the precious vessels. He took the hidden treasures which he found. All right, and that's what Esau does. He'll go into a country. He'll invade a country, and then he'll take all the spoils, takes all the riches, makes them for himself. That's what he did with. That's what he did in Jerusalem. All right. Let's keep reading. Verse 24. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre and spoken very proudly. Again, the Edomites are the proudest people, the proudest nation on the planet Earth. All right? Braggadocious, arrogant, proud. Those are all characteristics of Edomites. And if you're walking in that spirit, man, again, you're acting like an Edomite, you may as well be an Edomite. Verse 25. Therefore, there was a great mourning in Israel in every place where they were. And see, that's because at this time, during this time in history, the Israelites, they knew who they were. All right? They actually, they had, they had honor in being Israelites. Nowadays, our people are so destroyed and dumbed down, they don't even consider they're the Israelites, as it tells you that in Isaiah, 1 and 3 or 1 and 5. I always get those two mixed up. But let's keep reading. So that the princes and the elders mourned, the virgins and young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women was changed. All right? Just like now. All right? You have our women walking in the spirit of these Edomites. Right? They're proud. They're always going up against their husbands. They go to work. They'll be happy to make their coffee for their boss, Esau, Edom. But when they get home, their husband asks them to make them a cup of coffee. They're going to start bitching and moaning and complaining. You do it. I just got off work. Because see, really, our women ain't even supposed to work. But we're in the customs of the heathen, and basically here in America, Babylon the Great, you have what you call feminism, which is causing the woman to be exalted, and causing the woman to believe that she's equal and even above a man, as the scripture reads, a woman shall come past a man, right? Meaning a woman's going to be brought higher in this society. Verse 27, every bridegroom took up lamentation, and that's how, let me go back, and that's how the beauty of our women have changed. Because our women used to be tender and delicate. It tells you that in Deuteronomy, that our women were so tender and delicate that they wouldn't even allow their foot to touch the ground. All right. Every bridegroom took up lamentation, and she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. The land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion. And even today, this is still happening, but it's even more. There's even more confusion. The word Babylon, it means confusion, and this is what America, Babylon the Great, it breeds confusion. Our people are all confused. You know, men want to be women, women want to be men. Why? Because they're following after the Edomite. They're following the customs of the heathen. 29. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude, and spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. Just like they do right now. All right? They did it with the jump shot. They were telling you peaceable words. Like, oh, this is going to save you. This is going to help you. This is going to keep you safe from the virus. Right? And then what happened? A lot of our people took that jump shot, ended up having strokes, heart attacks, so on and so forth, dying, taking that serpent's poison. That's what that is, that vaccination, that's serpent's poison, man. He's got peaceable words, but it's all deceit when it comes to this Edomite. For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city, and smote it very sore, and destroyed much people of Israel. And the same thing happened. You have a lot of our people who got destroyed, who got killed. I have an uncle who died because why? Because he took that jump shot. He didn't listen. He didn't listen to the prophets. He didn't believe the truth, essentially. And I have another uncle who he can't walk anymore. He had 2 strokes, and the brother can't walk anymore. All right, he's confined to a wheelchair, and why? Because he took that serpent juice. All right? Verse 31. And remember, this is a characteristic of the Edomite. They're out to destroy Yahweh's people. They're not here to help you like you think. But hey, I'm gonna go ahead and close out because my ride is here. So I'm gonna close out. I want to give all the praise, all the glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rekakodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also, I want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the 4 corners of the earth. The shalom to the elect. And check this out. Lord's will, I'm gonna continue this lesson in First Maccabees, and we're gonna read more dirt on these Edomites. All right. But, I think some good points were made in this, what I got through. So go ahead and, stay tuned. Lord's will, I'll do another lesson. But shalom to the elect. Shalom. Yahweh B'Ashem Yahushai. All praise and glory goes to Yahweh B'Ashem Yahushai. All right? Double honors goes out to the elders of the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect.